Well, this is Cody Gullickson presenting assignment 1 for the CSCI 846 distributed systems course. For this assignment, the requirement was to create a multi-threaded proxy server that would be initialized and running on a local workstation. For this assignment, my proxy is going to be running at the local host address, as well as listening on port 8888. To start this application, I have two main source files pulled from my GitHub repository and sitting in a folder on my desktop. I've already opened the command prompt and navigated to the directory where both of the Java class files are sitting and have compiled them both. To initialize the proxy server class, the Java class file can be called passing port 8888 as a runtime parameter. After the proxy server has been initialized, it'll log to the window some key details like the port that it is listening on, that a cache directory has been made, and that a log directory has been made. Before I'm able to test the runtime capability of this proxy, I first need to make an adjustment to the network settings of my internet browser. By going to the network settings and selecting to manually configure a proxy, I can use the local host address and the port of 8888 to pass information from the browser to my proxy. Now that the proxy has been associated with the browser, it is possible to see some of the logs being passed from the browser to the proxy server. To specifically demonstrate the caching ability of this proxy, making a client GET request, I'll first navigate to this link. As well as the first page of the website. Looking in the logs, there is some key information that is being shown. The request, copying the logs to Notepad makes them easier to read and follow. It can first be seen that on line 27, the client request for the GET URL was passed. On line 28, it can be seen that the proxy server was attempting to look in the cache for the URL of the client request. However, since this is the first time that the client has been looking, the first time the client has navigated to this URL, there is nothing in the cache for the proxy server to find. Additional information that is logged is the request type, the URL string, the default port of 80. To continue this demonstration, we can navigate away from the initial client request to the home page of the North Dakota State. To demonstrate the caching ability of the proxy, we can then take and make the same client request that we had made prior. By navigating back and navigating to the first page, and again, copying all of the logs, back to Notepad. We can now see another client request has been made to the URL. We can also see that the lookup in cache value on line 426 of the logs, we can see that there was indeed a cached file with the same host name, value passed, And within this cache file, we can see that data is being returned. This is demonstrated by the page loading within the browser. If going back to the main directory of the application, we can see the cache directory has cached multiple sites. And we can also see the log directory has logged the list of client requests based on the time, the client IP, the client request URL, and in some cases, the network server IP address. This concludes the demo of the proxy server application for CSCI 846. Thank you.